Aha, we have here. I'm here, it says Predicted Junior. Scott, did you rename yourself? Hello everybody. Is anyone there? I can't see any reviewers. Can't see. Am I live, Scott? Yeah. Awesome, right. Hopefully we get a couple of reviewers in the house. I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes, but just while I wait for a couple of people, because otherwise the start of the video on the live will be a bit odd. This is going to be a very, very quick live on Vibrant Summer Leather. Hi Trisha, thanks for joining. So we have 5 people in the house already. Hey Matt, an unexpected live. How you doing? Now we have in the chat Predicted Junior, which is my younger son Scott. And Scott is 14, not far away from being 15. So at the end of this little review, which isn't going to be long because I've got work tonight, I'm going to be getting Scott to answer any questions you may have about his dad. And you can ask Scott some questions too about fragrance. So Scott will just be in the chat. Hi Nigel, thanks for joining. Evening John. Right, so the review is going to be on Zara Vibrant Leather. So those that were in my live on Sunday will know that I got it. This was one of the ones I got it in. So I just want to tell you a little bit about it really. I'm not getting much time to edit at the moment. Just to tell you my situation, I'm not moaning about it, but I am getting up at around 7:30 and I'm at work by 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then I work till 6. I come home, I have dinner, and then I'm back out to work. I leave the house at 9:30. So I have about 2.5 hours at home. Now, in that 2.5 hours, I'm seeing family, I'm having dinner, so I'm not getting any time to video, shoot, edit. It's just not happening. So I thought, you know what? Let's just put a very, very quick live out there, and we are talking probably about 15 minutes, famous last words. I'll say what, look, if I get to 8:30, tell me off, because I waffle on, and at 8:30 I really need to get off, say good night to everybody and stuff, and help with Phoebe's bedtime, etc. So that is the deadline. So we'll start off quickly. We'll do a very, very quick review on this, and then we can ask Scott any questions. And if you've got any questions for Scott, then you can ask them anyway. Scott is in the background. He won't come on camera. He'll be a bit embarrassed in case any of his mates watch this. So Scott will happily chat away in the comments and say hello to you all and answer any questions you might have. So let's get into the box and stop waffling. How much sleep do you get? Nigel, last week it was 5 hours, which wasn't enough. I really struggled last week. So I have reduced my working hours until 1 o'clock in the morning. And I get home and I'm asleep by about 2. And then my alarm goes off at 7:30. So it's 5.5, 6 hours absolute maximum. So right, hi Michael, good evening. And we have Hilary in the house as well. Thanks Hilary, thanks for joining. So in the bottle, this is a rather large bottle. So there we go, that's the size compared to my size of my head. Now some might argue it'll never get close to the size of my head. Sorry about the lighting, I haven't set up any studio or anything this evening, so no lights. So the colour of the cap's lovely, like a pastel green colour, like almost mint. And clear bottle. Now this is, it might be a previous take on the Vibrant Leather Cologne. It's got exactly the same notes. So the notes listed are bergamot, ginger and cedar. Now, I think that's absolute tosh. I'll put it out there. The notes, in my eyes, are way off. John, this is 120 ml, 120 ml. Now, the notes are crap. I'll get into the notes in a moment and what it's like, and I think a lot of you may already know what it's like, but the notes are off. This is an Eau de Parfum concentration. It's a summer freshie. At the moment you can get it on sale for just $12.99, so it's a good price and it's a big bottle, and the presentation's very good. It's also, which one of the things I mentioned on Sunday is one of the things I'm most impressed by it, not only the fragrance of course. Hi Chris, thanks for joining, is the lid, magnetic lid. Now, spoiler alert, I will be doing a summer video. I've got an idea for that, and this will be going in there. It probably won't be number one, but it will be going in the list, and I'll give you some reasons why. So, in the top, so it says bergamot. That is rubbish to me. Sometimes the Zara fragrances on Fragrantica, they just seem completely wrong to what the fragrance smells like. Now, number one, vibrant leather in the, I know everyone knows what this is meant to be, but why put leather in the name to start with? No leather. So, no bergamot. I don't get any ginger. Now, it has got a slightly woodsy dry down, and when I say slight, it is literally just to add a touch of depth to the fragrance. This is an interpretation of Dior Homme cologne. Now, I've smelt that in store. I haven't picked it up because it didn't wow me enough. There's more of the Dior Homme line that I would prefer over this. So when I see this at $12.99, I thought, you know what, this might give me that fix without actually wanting the main bottle. And I think it will do that. Now, Ashley, you're ruining it for me now. There is ambroxan, I think, in this. It's, in the top, it's, to me, lemon. To others, it's mandarin. So I personally get a sort of pledge lemon. So it is quite synthetic on the top. It does settle down though to be quite nice. Now, what really surprised me about this for a summer freshie is it actually performs reasonably well. So the performance, I get 4 to 5 hours and it becomes a skin scent after that, and it stays on your skin for about 6 hours before it then becomes not very detectable. Now, you might not think that's brilliant, but for $12.99, number one, number two, it's a summer freshie. What more could you expect? So, lemon in the mids, into a slightly woodsy dry down with the heavy ambroxan hit that someone quite rightly pointed out. But other people get like an orange zest, and I can see where they get from because it is quite zesty, it's quite zingy. Just list some of the other things I wrote down that I get. So Russell's put that it's definitely lemon. Now, I think it's very fresh, it's very summery, it is a bit of a dumb reach, but it's also something you could wear to, say, a pub garden, to a barbecue, something, a daytime freshie, to the beach, round the pool. It is a holiday fragrance, and if it's lasting 4 or 5 hours in high heat, I think that's doing the job it needs to do. It's zingy, it's lemony. I put that it's a little bit synthetic, and I think it's very refreshing. So it's not a very in-depth review, but that's why I've picked this fragrance for this live, because I didn't want to be forever. Like I said, I'm on a bit of a curfew. I've got about 15 minutes left. There wasn't much I could edit into a full video on this and a full review. It would have to have been a 2-minute Tuesday, and that I would have struggled. Not 2-minute Tuesday, 2-minute Tuesday would have been fine because I've currently been live for 9 minutes waffling. But I would say, people, if you're thinking of picking up any new fragrances from Zara and you want something for the summer, you want something fresh, easy to wear, I can recommend this, and the presentation wouldn't look out of place in a collection. It sits nicely in my Zara collection. It actually dwarfs those in terms of size. It's huge, but I love it. It's got the Zara in the top, just there, look, as they all have. And yeah, I think presentation very good. So I'll stop waffling there. That is my little review on Vibrant Leather Summer, which could also have been the previous version, which was summer, vibrant leather cologne. So there we go. The comments seem to have stopped. So if you could bear with me for one moment. Oh no, there we go. So it's sold out fast. I went to the website right after you suggested it. Right, okay, well, I got it online. And I'll tell you what is another good thing about Zara. I have a local drop. They drop it to my local post office here. So obviously if I'm going to post things out, which I have been, I can go and pick this up. And in some instances, I think my best time I had was, it went from 9, I think I ordered at 9 p.m. one night and it was there by 11 o'clock the next morning. And I didn't pay for next day delivery or anything. That's how quick it arrived, which I was amazed by. Right, did the old presentation with the blue atomizer that looked more in line with the Dior frag? Yeah, I've seen that, Max, and I like the sort of see-through, the see-through blue. It's not an atomizer, but the straw, if you like. I can't remember what the actual name is for it, but the see-through effect on that's very good. John's put, I hope you're getting commission. Zara, if you want to get in touch with me, then I reckon that I could do a good job. And there is another well-known reviewer doing Zara fragrances. Just hit me up instead of him, that'd be nice. Right, I'm only kidding. Right, if there's anyone, Scott, are you in the comments? Could Scott put a little thumbs up or something to say that he's there and listening for me, please? And we'll get on to some questions. Now, did everyone enjoy the live on Sunday? Was it a good live? Did everyone enjoy the mystery guest? Yes, Martin, yeah. Yeah, so Scott's in the comments. So there is a little bit of a delay on this, so please bear with me. There's a delay. There's more of a delay using this phone software than there is at the weekend. But I'm less stressed today, even though I've been working all day, because my missus didn't ruin my chronic bottle. And also my setup was ready to go in an instant. Hi Jim, thanks for joining. So, has anyone got any questions for young Scott, who has listed himself as Predicted Junior? And Matt, I didn't think of that. He commented at the very first comment and it came up Predicted Junior, and I had to smirk to myself. Now, Scott, I would argue, has a better sense of humour than I've even got. And you know what? He's a young man, so he's down with the kids. He understands. He can tell you a little bit about what he likes in fragrances. Yeah, Jim, I've just finished a review. You'll have to watch it back. I think overall, I'm not wowed in terms of it's the best fragrance in the world, but for me, it is incredible value for money and well worth picking up if you want something in your collection that does the job and lasts more than half an hour. I think this is well worth the money. Right, so anyone got any questions for Scott? There's the first one. Thanks, John. So, is your dad a nightmare shopping, like a car salesman trying to get money off a can of beans? Am I a nightmare at shopping, Scott? Now, Scott, I'll tell you a little story. Scott's birthday, I can't remember if it was this birthday. I think it was the birthday before, because I think he got a phone for this birthday. But the birthday before, he wanted money, and we went down to Westfield for the day, just me and Scott. And he loves shopping, as long as it's for himself, obviously, like we all do. But there we go. Organising a 5-month payment plan. No plans here, John. I can't afford it. I don't want it because I don't want to get myself in that situation. Right, he's a nightmare because he goes for one thing but takes the whole shop out. Oh, yeah, I am. Scott's been shopping me a few times and I go to have a look at something. He's also been fragrance shopping with me as well. And that's a bit of a nightmare for him. He gets a bit bored, I think. Does he buy a lot of hair products? I think Scott uses more than I do, to be fair. Hi Lizzie, thanks for joining. Any more questions for Scott? We've got about 10 minutes to enjoy this live, so any questions for Scott about his dad or his family or Becca or about fragrances? Be nice to ask Scott some fragrance related questions as we're in a fragrance chat, that'd be good. But likewise, if you want to try and embarrass me, then go for it. Sorry, this chat I think is a little bit behind, so I do apologise if I'm having little silent moments. I think the chat stops and then all of a sudden another one pops up, so I think I'm sort of a bit behind on my chat. Scott's put he thinks he uses more. Hi Nick, thanks for joining. John Snow, right, so Scott, do I use Youp Homme or Sauvage? Or what do you prefer? I don't think Scott's tried Youp Homme, but I'll let him. Scott's not in the same room as me as well, by the way. Scott's up in his bedroom. He can only hear what's on this screen. Come on, people, with the questions. Yes, get some questions. So Max got a question. What scent does he think best suits his dad? That's a great question. So Scott, you're going to have to get quicker with those fingers and thumbs, mate. Get answering these questions for me. And Scott, what's your go-to lady killer scent? Scott has got a favourite. He's got a couple of favourites, actually. He's got one that he's just started stealing off of me. But Scott, come on, get those questions going. Nick, you got those t-shirts ready yet? Oh, yes, if no one's seen Nick's live, then go and watch it back. I had them in my pocket on Sunday night and I was literally wetting myself putting out the Mr. Kiplings. Really, really funny. I'd love to have been there causing trouble in the chat too. And at one point I had to actually stop and write a comment because I wanted to be involved and I couldn't be. So my lady killer is probably 1 million. So Scott, have you got a favourite that I've got that I wear? So I am getting a bit close to the camera, but I need to read these questions. And when you write a lot, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So question for Scott. Let me just scroll down a little bit. If I have ordered 15 fragrances in a huge Notino parcel and told my girlfriend it's shampoo, would she believe me? Michael, you can't say you've done that. I'm going to start calling you Barry. I like the Chronic you got. Yes, you do. But there is also another fragrance he's been wearing, and that is Mont Blanc, and it is in the white bottle, and my memory's just gone completely blank. But you know the one, I post it a lot. Scott loves that sort of bubblegum fragrance. But yeah, I don't think the chat that they had on Saturday night is very PG for Scott. So Scott, don't watch that back. They're bad, they're naughty people. You might need to say you got a few bottles of shampoo. So, Legend Spirit, thank you Max. My mind just went completely blank. So, is everyone good? Is everyone okay? Chris listened to the Scent Geeks on Sunday night and that was a great episode, nice and slick I thought, and you got everything in there. The one thing that I really like in the Scent Geeks is the mention of the videos. That's my favourite section. It's not because I've been mentioned, it's because I watch the videos that probably you're watching too, and we're all really into this, and as reviewers we like watching other people, and I love that section where you mention what's been happening in FragCon, because I stand there and nod and think and agree. That's what I've been watching too. Right, which fragrance reviewer would Scott most love to see on your channel? Now, Scott, I don't think admittedly watches much fragrance reviews. Josh has watched a few things and does watch a few things, but I'm not sure Scott does. He's on YouTube a lot, but he thinks this is probably a bit embarrassing talking about fragrance. He'd rather be talking about games, maybe girls, who knows. Well, of course, Lizzie or Chris, Nige or Hillary. I think that's all of you. Yeah, I heard that, Chris. I heard you had a problem, but you wouldn't have realised it unless you'd mentioned the sound and compared them like for like. You wouldn't have mentioned, or you wouldn't have noticed at all. The sound was absolutely fine. I don't watch Make Fragrance YouTube, but the one that says "Word to Your Mother." Hey, there we go, Steve. Good choice. Brilliant. Word to Your Mother. I love the chat and the different comparison taste between Chris and Steve. Well, yeah, Steve is catching Chris up though in terms of he's becoming that niche snob now, isn't he? I think Steve had the cheek to call me a niche boy recently, and then drops a niche fragrance video. Ryan Clark has let himself go a bit. This lockdown destroy. Ryan Clark has let himself go a little bit. Is that referring to me? Because if that is, number one, I haven't got Ryan Clark's teeth. Number two, I'm better looking than Ryan Clark. Number three, I'm not as tall as him, I don't think. And number four, I'm probably not as funny. But I'll tell you one thing, I could definitely sing better than he does. But I wouldn't really call that a cuss. He's such a basic bitch, Chris, where we used to be. Yeah, I know, he's turning on us, isn't he? He really is, he's turning. So he thinks that I'm probably turning because I'm doing all these Parfums de Marly fragrances, but I don't own any of the full bottles yet, so it doesn't count. A few samples does not count. I am not a niche snob yet. Right, if Scott could pick another topic for your channel, that's a great question, Lizzie. I like that. Really like that. So, Scott, if I could do another channel that you would like me to do, what would that be? And Max, Ryland Clark comments, disrespectful. It depends on whether you think you like Ryland Clark or not, I suppose, doesn't it? If you like Ryland Clark, then is it disrespectful? Well, I don't know. My mum and dad bumped into Ryland Clark once and they didn't say he looked like me. They bumped into him outside Frankie and Benny's in Peterborough. And he was really nice and they got a photo with him and he was apparently very, very friendly. Might have been different if he was tucking into his big pizza, but... Right, any more? I have got about 5 minutes maximum. I would say a gaming channel, but he's pretty tragic. Yeah, I am. Hi Scott, so Scott meets Scott. Scott is Projected Junior. He'll change his name straight back, but it serves him right if he can't. So if YouTube basically restricts the amount of times you can change your name, he's in channel. Who on earth is Ryland Clark? Matt, look him up. Look, just do Ryland Clark X Factor. I don't cry like him either, to be fair. Only when I'm watching the Ricky Gervais thing. So, Scott, what would you say is the game I am best at, and what would you say is the game I am worst at? Is that a good question? I'm not sure. Right. Oh, the supermarket sweep. Matt, do I look anything like him? Am I like a cheap version of Rylan Clark? Because I'd like to be a quid behind him, I'm sure. Scott, are you there? You're very quiet. I'm asking you questions. Don't be rude. Didn't bring you up this way. I brought you up to be a respectful young man. Behave that way. My mum always wanted to go on Supermarket Sweep. I'd love to go on Supermarket Sweep. I remember the old, was it Dow Winton was the one that did that first time round? I thought it was brilliant. Loved it. You're not too bad FIFA, but you definitely need more practice on COD. That's Call of Duty, by the way, just for the people that aren't down with the kids like I am. Right, be interested if you could check out Axis Elegant Blue. It's only £10, but I've heard it's a good JPG Ultra Mal cheapie, but there's not a lot of reviews on it. Max, I will do that. Max says, let's have a little look. I'll look this up afterwards, Max. So we are talking about Axis Elegant. Max, I'll check it out and see if I can pick it up and do a review on it. Right, just Google Rylan Clark. You really need to up your eyebrow game. Now, I do have my eyebrows trimmed by the missus, or she takes great pleasure in plucking them and causing me great pain. George Zara used to look more like Rylan. Your dad's more of a Pac-Man kind of guy. No. So I loved my gaming when they were boys. So when they were boys, they would love to come in and try and play with me. Now, when they were very, very young, I would do that old dad trick of, yeah, have that controller that isn't plugged in, but they weren't stupid. So they got that very quickly. But as the years went on, they got better and better and better. Now I can't touch them. I cannot touch them. Right, so I missed the review of Vibrant Leather Summer, but if the segment's still there 20 minutes in. Yeah, Ronald, just go back and watch it afterwards, because it's the first sort of 5 minutes of the stream. So you'll get a very good idea of what it's like if you go back and watch. I do need porcelain teeth. You know what? I want my teeth done anyway. I haven't got great teeth. I really do want my teeth done. Hello, Barry. Another trim on the hair and beard. Yeah, I think... Paul, was it who said that? Was that Paul? Yeah, Paul. Becca cut my hair at the weekend, and she just literally trimmed the sides down for me a little bit, and I do my beard. So my beard was freshly trimmed on Sunday. Yeah, it has. Not bad. Giroud. Yeah, I've been compared to Giroud before. Someone else has mentioned that. I've had David Tennant. I've had Giroud. I've had David Beckham. Now, what can I say? Well, I was thinking this, right? What if David Beckham started doing fragrance reviews and he started with his own fragrances? Or David Beckham did a Creed Aventus review? How much would that blow up? That would be insane. He'd be bigger than Jeremy Fragrance in, I reckon, about a day. And he would be huge. So, David Beckham, if you're listening, because of course you are, then you know what? Start doing fragrance reviews. Could earn a fortune out of it. You'll be a millionaire. Right, Zara is underrated. I bought Vibrant Leather Oud last year in September, and it's aged well, a treat. It is a beast mode performance, 4 hours. So it beast, and then 4 hours it just dies. And Zara fragrance definitely get old. Victoria Beckham maybe. Thanks, Barry. Love you too. Right, guys. I really appreciate you just randomly joining my live. I'm not saying enjoying it. You're probably not enjoying it. But thank you very much for joining. Let me just read a few more of the comments. Then I really do need to go and spend little bit of time with my family and get Phoebe to bed before I go to work again. David Beckham would need an interpreter. That's awesome. As long as he doesn't review his own. It still lingers in the air, mate. Beckham has an account. He got a couple of solid fragrances and they're all affordable. Yeah, I did a review on a David Beckham fragrance and it's actually one of my better performing videos, believe it or not. It's not one that blows up immediately, but over time, they get views over a long period of time. So what I would like to do, Chris, someone's requested that I do a video. If Chris is still in the room, I think, Chris, you should do a David Beckham fragrance review because it'd be interesting to see what the views are like for someone with a much, much bigger channel. So Chris, if you're still in the room or you hear this back, buy one of the David Beckham fragrances like Intimately. I think that's quite a good one. And do a review and it'll be really interested to see how the views go. I think you'll find the views will be reasonable to start with, but over a long period of time they'll actually gain some momentum. So give it a go. Time for me to go back to... Now Barry, let me tell you a little bit about football. I was a football nut growing up. Played Saturdays and Sundays. I played many positions, but mainly central midfield, centre defence. Scott can probably vouch for me as being a reasonable footballer. Scott, are you still in the comments? I'm not trying to ruin, I'm not trying to sabotage Chris. Chris can do his own thing, he doesn't have to do it. Does he? But you know what? It'd just be interesting to see. I'll even transfer the £10 it costs for Intimately to Chris to get it in because I'm just interested to see how the reviews go. Right, everyone, I really do need to go. You're not telling me off for going away now, so I'm going to tell myself off. But Scott, who do I play for, Barry? I didn't go like semi-pro. The highest level I got to was actually from I played for my Churchill team, which was Saturday football, and they were playing teams like Met Police. Whereas a team locally to us, we played. It wasn't semi-pro; it was below that, but it was high league Saturday football, and I played for locally as well. As I got a bit older and moved up north, the standard of football went down a little bit, but doesn't necessarily mean that I was a bad player. People watching this, then they will probably blast me, but hey, who knows? So Scott, you said you sure am, but you didn't answer my question about whether you thought I was an okay footballer or not. Did the ball have a bell in it? Oh, you're the bell. Thanks, Barry. All right, everybody, I have got to go. So I will catch you all on the flip side. We'll be live on Sunday with a mystery guest who hasn't confirmed yet, but I will get someone confirmed for Sunday nonetheless. I will see everyone soon. Take care of yourselves.